it is Bones. And let's go ahead and flip through some custom work that I did. This was a quick turnaround on the 3Jokers Red Hood. Did a couple of things, made some choices, and did some things on the fly, but I'm pretty happy with them. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. Now starting off, first thing off the bat, I did mod the head. That way, now he could look way up. Before, his head was hitting, like right where the hoodie is at, it would stop there. And I dremeled out a little notch in the back of the neck peg hole. And now he could move his head way up. So, pretty sweet. Now, that doesn't cause any damage or any visible disturbances, but you can get more range of motion, so that's cool. Now let's move down. Next thing I did was I did paint in the silver to his jacket. You have the buttons on the shoulder coming down, the zippers. There's a substantial amount of zippers like on the coat, and then you got a buckle there with a really big zipper at the end. All in all, looks really nice. Adds a little bit of accent to that plain black jacket. So happy with that. Now I did gloss up the arms like I had said before. The shoulders were really glossy, and then once you move down to the elbows it was a flat black. So all I did was add a high gloss sealer, so that way when it dries it just has a shine to it that matches that upper shoulder perfectly. Actually matches it perfectly, so that was all right. Now let's talk about the wrist mod. Now I have heard of this before, but I had never done it, and the reason being is that if you see the way his gloves are, the wrist guards are connected to the gloves, and they're like at an angle, kind of like this, so you could never really put them pointing the gun straight because his wrists were kind of twisted in. So what you do, you actually pop off the hand first, and you cut right around where the gloves are and where they connect to that, like the lower glove part, and you cut right around it to where you separate that lower part from the glove. And at first I was scared because I thought, it's not gonna look good, but what I noticed is that if you push that glove part back up, you actually expose the wrist ball joint a little more, and that gives you more control. And when you find where the ball joint swivels, you actually get more rotation. And do not worry, because once you get it where you want it, angled back or forward, you just adjust that little cuff part, and then it blends right in again, so it's like it's not even cut. So I actually was really happy with it, even though I had never done it before. But now you could get more range in his wrist when he's pointing his gun. So that was actually a surprise, which was pretty cool. Okay, getting away from that, I also painted the little knuckles on his gloves just to give it some, some spice. Now moving down, I did add the R to his belt to give it some more comic book accuracy. Now, I found it's weird because you just look through your fodder until something hits you. And I found this like circular tube, and I cut it kind of like when you cut bread. I cut the very tip off, and what that left me was this pretty cool circle with like a little, drop off, like an indentation. And then I actually used plastic from the holsters that was red to carve out the R and then glue it right in the middle. Then I did paint that circular piece a gloss black, and I actually been going over that R a couple of times just to give it a little bit more shine. But it's pretty cool. I mean, now it's more comic accurate, and it didn't cost me anything. It was from parts that I had, so awesome. Looks pretty good. Now moving down, let's go ahead and talk about these holsters now. These holsters are the same ones from the Thomas Wayne figure, and I have seen people using them all over, online. The only thing I would say is that I don't like how they look sometimes because they're really bulky. And on the Thomas Wayne figure, I didn't mind so much because he's a big figure. But since this Red Hood was a little bit smaller, and to me, he needs to be like sleeker, like not so much bulkiness, that I wanted to actually peg him, glue him to the side of his thighs. That way there wouldn't be no connection to the belt. And also the black would like blend in and the red wouldn't make those holsters stick out so much because it's a different color. Now I did actually have them red at first and they looked pretty cool. Like I kind of liked how they had that color red to like, give it some contrast between the red from the top and the all black bottom. But I did want to just stick to my guns, and I knew I wanted it to be black so that it would all blend in, so I went ahead and painted them black. Now I did do a flat coat first, and then I did a gloss black, and then I sealed it with some matte. Even though it's a matte, it still has a little bit of shine to it, and the gloss paint comes through, and it matches perfectly with the paint on his legs, and on the paint on the boots. It all matches really smoothly, so I'm really happy with it. Now I did slice the holsters probably a couple of millimeters off because I wanted to bring them in tighter to his legs, because I thought if I just cut them and glue them, it's going to be like some big boxes on the sides of his legs. So I did slice them, and then once I felt like that's enough, because I still wanted the guns to fit in there, I glued them in position, let them dry, and then I painted them up. And actually, to me, I'm really happy with it. It looks really good. Now the guns were those guns I had ordered online that were smaller, and since they're thinner, they actually slide right into the holster, no problem. They even have a little bit of movement still, which is fine, but they do slide in. Now, if you want to, you can actually put a little bit more pressure, and they actually go all the way in, and they peek out from the bottom, the barrels do, and that's when you know they're really in. They won't go anywhere because they're tight in there. But that's if you want. If not, you could just put them in to where they hit, and it's fine as well. Not no big deal. But they did come out pretty beautifully. I'm really happy with it. I've been, posing this guy, putting him in different positions. Now, another reason I had decided to do this is I didn't want to mess with the articulation. And as you could see, you could still move him up for the splits, even though he has the holster with the gun in there. And that also allows for more dexterity when you're posing them and stuff. The holsters do not get in the way. But all in all, really happy with them. The guns fit right in his hands. Now you could get more articulation in the wrist with the wrist mod. Just warm them up when you put them back in so you don't fight with it so much. But if you warm them up, it makes the insertion and the removal really easy, really smooth. Now the last thing we want to do is, I did get him an alternate head. So we pop this head off, and then we bring in the alternate head and pop that right on. Now this is a Mattel head, and it is a removable head from the Multiverse line, so you should not have a problem putting it on and off the peg. I did not have to modify the peg. It actually fits right on there, and it's a good fit. Love this head. I've always liked this head, but it's a little bit small for the original Red Hood version, so that's why I never liked using them with him. But this one, it fits perfectly because this is a leaner, smaller figure, so looks really good. You can put the helmet right in between his fingers, and he'll hold on to it, so you can make some cool poses with the gun, holding his helmet, however you'd like to have him. I think it looks great. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with them. But you can put his gun in his hand and then have his helmet. Stands easily, perfectly. Beautiful figure. Love this from McFarlane. This is a sleeper for me because I didn't really have a lot of hopes for it. But actually now I'm really happy with him. He's going to look great on the shelf. The 3Jokers wave, the whole wave was a big surprise for me. I really enjoyed a lot of those figures. Now, I did pick up another one today at Target. And you know me, I like to display both versions. So this one's pretty much going to be like this on the shelf. And then I do have the unaltered original release with his crowbar, but I did switch it to that chrome crowbar. But they look pretty good together. And then, just for fun, let's put them next to my custom original Red Hood release from McFarlane. Pretty cool pair there. Now you can see this guy is a little bit stockier, a little bit bigger. But both beautiful figures. I'm still more partial to this one because of all the work I put into him. I sculpted out the domino mask. And he's been with me, you know, since the beginning. This one's up there though. He has his cool stylized look, and I'm really digging him. I'm really actually getting a little bit more attached to this one, which I didn't think would happen. But they're both beautiful figures. So hope that helped you guys out, gave you some ideas. You guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.